My name is Chef Kevin Mitchell from the Culinary Institute of Charleston, and today I'm going to do a really great dish made with salmon. It's going to be influenced by some of the foods and the ingredients of Africa. So we're going to do a berebere and benne seed crusted salmon with coconut and greens braised with some fresh peas. Now the peas we're going to use are local, so we use some black-eyed peas, some Sea Island Reds, and some white acres. Now for the berebere and the benne seed, berebere is a African curry. It comes to us from Ethiopia. And benne seeds, they also come to us from Africa. They are the original sesame seeds that were brought over by the enslaved during the transatlantic slave trade. So first thing we're going to do is I have my salmon pre-searing because it's pretty thick. You want to sear it on both sides. I seasoned it with salt and pepper, and then I also dredged it in the berebere and the benne seed crust. And in this pan here, we're going to start doing the coconut braised peas. In this pan here, I'm going to pour a little bit of coconut oil. Then we're going to start off by sauteing some onions, some small diced onions here. We're going to saute those just long enough until they become opaque, well, basically, which means you can see through them. So we'll let this go for a minute, and then I'm going to start adding some of my dry spices. And I do that early because I want to be able to bring out all the flavor in those spices. So I have my onions in here. Then I'm going to add some curry powder. A little turmeric. And a good bit of cayenne. This is a pretty spicy dish. So once I smell those spices start to cook, then I'm going to add some fresh ginger. A little chopped garlic. Or maybe a lot. Now for my salmon, it's got a nice crust on the outside, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sear it on all four sides so we get some nice even color. And in this pan here, I'm going to start to add my greens. Now in the recipe says you can use kale or collards. I'm using collards. Also in the recipe it tells you can put the greens in at the very end, but because we're using collards, I'm going to put them in now because collards will take a little bit longer to cook. Take the salmon off and let that finish cooking. Now here I want to start building flavors by adding a little bit of salt. And the salt will help release some of the moisture from the greens. Some black pepper. Then I'm going to add some diced tomatoes. And right now, this time of year, we don't necessarily have fresh tomatoes, so canned tomatoes work just as well. One thing you can do ahead of time is you can cook your peas. You soak them overnight, and then you just parboil them until they become al dente, which just basically means they're a little bit hard on the outside and have a little bit of chew on the inside. Now I'm going to start adding my liquids. What I've got here is some of the reserve liquid from cooking the peas. That helps bring the dish together. It adds a little bit more starch. It brings the peas and everything together. I'm going to add a little bit of I have chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock. You can use beef stock. You can use water. But make sure when you use water that you compensate and add a little bit more seasoning to this. I'm just gonna let that cook for a couple seconds. My salmon is looking pretty good. Here I want to taste and see where my seasoning is. I'm going to add a little bit more salt. Then I'm going to add some coconut milk. And that would be another influence from either Africa or from the Caribbean. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my peas. So again, these are Sea Island Reds, White Acres, and Black Eyed Peas. But the peas, you just want to leave them in there or cook them long enough so they heat through. They're pretty much already cooked. Then for a garnish, I'm going to take a little bit of baby greens. And here I have some baby radish greens and a little bit of fresh tarragon. I'm going to season a little bit of salt, a touch of pepper, then a squeeze of lemon juice. And here I have benne seed oil. This is oil that's actually pressed from those benne seeds. And at one particular time in the late 1800s, benne seed oil was the main cooking oil in the city of Charleston. So I'm going to just toss this around a little bit. You can buy these greens at any local grocery store. And then I'm just gonna go on plate. The dish is pretty much complete. Two nice bowls here. Take my pea mixture in the middle of the plate. Put more greens. Clean that up a little bit. Take my pieces of salmon right over top. Take my baby radish greens. And then I'm just going to garnish with a little bit of benne seed oil. There you have it. Berebere, benne seed crusted salmon with coconut, raised peas, and greens.